But Scott, we do have to kind of touch on like the closing of Blank Slate and just kind of your final thoughts and what you want to kind of say to the public. The big question on everyone's mind is kind of what's next with the company.
What's next for Blank Slate?
Yeah, like how things are going to wind down, and then we have a couple more specifically on recipes and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, how it's going to wind down, honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out. I have about 20 different paths in front of me, and none of them go farther than about 1.5 feet. Everything from there might be someone who wants to come in and take over the space and turn it into a different brewery of their own creation. I've, believe it or not, had numerous inquiries about reinvesting and getting it up and running again, none of which have been even remotely close to reasonable or feasible. But it's just funny, I couldn't find those people when I needed them, and then we close up and they come out of the woodwork. But that's neither here nor there. Most likely, what's going to happen is honestly we're going to probably be liquidating the equipment, either all to one person or bits and pieces to here and there. Probably it'll end up being bits and pieces to here and there, and it'll just all kind of slowly get cleaned out, and that'll be the end of it. And hopefully there's enough money in doing that to pay off all the people I owe. Otherwise, I'll be, I don't know, moving into an apartment, selling my house, and selling my kid into slavery and
living
whatever.
In the lab,
so
living in the new lab building.
Yeah,
I think it's for everyone. What I say, we certainly don't.
Yeah, there's lots of I've already found there's lots of places around here to hide where no one would have found you. So I'm thinking I could probably bunk in here for a while. And no one would
I'm sure those weren't used in Prohibition at all. None of that was used.
But no, I mean, to be honest, I mean, really, we're trying to wind down. I laugh about it because I have no choice but to laugh about it. Honestly, it's a pretty shitty situation. I'm dealing with it, day by day. A lot of it's still in the air, but it'll get resolved, and I'll be able to fully focus on what we're doing here.
What?
I know a lot of people are interested about the recipes, their favorite beers from Blank Slate,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you talked to Rick Arman last week, and you'd said that they're all basically just going away for right now, as far as you know. Or
yeah, I mean, there's no intentions at this point to say that 50 West is a new Blank Slate or something, and we're going to just bring those beers over here and brew them. There's absolutely no intention of doing that. This is 50 West. That was Blank Slate. They're two different entities. They're two different things. Will some of my techniques and ideas about recipes creep into some of the things we do? Maybe a little bit. I'm actually not in charge of recipe formulation. That's more Chris's role. But everything we do here, beer-wise, is a team effort. So will there be a day where it's like I'm coming up with a recipe and I'm going to brew it in the pub and it's going to be a pub beer and it's going to be something that's very Blank Slate-esque? Yeah, that's going to happen. Is it going to be, hey, let's brew Fork in the Road? No. Fork in the Road is a Blank Slate beer as far as I'm concerned. It dies with Blank Slate. Will there be a creation of a beer that maybe has some hints of the characteristic house character, if you will? Could some of that creep into a few beers here and there? Maybe, but that's really not my intention. I look at it as, Blank Slate was its own thing. It existed. It lived as it was. It will die as it was. It will never be that again. And honestly, it's probably best to just that the world moves on, so to speak.
A tail end to that question, and that's the last I think we'll touch on it. We know that the last shipment is making out to distro. There's
all the last beer actually shipped to our distributor last Friday. So oddly enough, like when it was announced we were going out, apparently there was a run on the shelves, and the shelves have probably been empty for a couple of weeks. What's going to be really weird is probably everyone's already forgot about that. And this weekend, the next, all of a sudden, all those shelves will be stocked again. I promise this is the last time they will be, though. This is it. That was all there was. We had beer in the tanks when we had to make the decision to close. We finished that product out. Because of lots of issues I won't go into, we had to wait and get all that together and do it all at once. All of that shipped. I shipped more beer last Friday than I've ever shipped at one time, period, in my life. But it's done. It's out there. It's gone. Whatever hits the shelves in this next week, that's it. So go get it.
My question I was curious about on that is the beer that you had in barrels. Is there any chance that will see the light of day, maybe through some transference, or is that just
Yes, there's a chance. Nothing's set in stone at this point. We didn't have a lot of stuff in barrels because we just never could afford, honestly, to put a lot of stuff in barrels. We have a few things that are. I like to believe that most, if not all, that's going to see the light of day. I don't know in exactly what form or through who yet. Some of that was Quaff Brothers beer, so there are abilities to move that through other Quaff Brothers partners, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I have nothing definitive at this point, but yeah, the idea would be hopefully we can get rid of it. Not get rid of it, but
You can just
move
take it
it
all
to
to my house. I have a cellar.
Well, the
You can
problem is,
just
none of
sell
it was done yet. So, it's all still in the barrels. And
Just
Need
if I
some
could
time.
do recipes real quick. I know at least one person's already asked about Opera Cream. I would love to be able to try and make my own version of Fork in the Road. Do you have any thoughts about releasing recipes on a homebrew level, so 5 gallons or something?
I haven't specifically thought about it, but I would have no problem with doing that.
I know a blog that might be hosting.
Yeah, so that would be the thing. So I number one, I have to scale them down, and then I have to have a place to put them. I would say give me a little bit of time to get some other aspects of
There
my
are more
life a
important
bit
things to
settled.
deal with.
But yeah, I would have no problem actually with putting out homebrew versions of some of those beers. No problem. So look for that in the future.